This is how to replace a TCM on your Ford Focus. When you have your new TCM, if it comes with new O-rings, make sure you lubricate it with silicone paste or transmission assembly lube. But pretty much this is what you're going to need for to replace it. You don't have to have an electric ratchet, or all you really need is a ratchet and a 7 and a 10 millimeter. Some of the older Focuses you may need an 8 for the clamp right here on the airbox, but let me get started. Okay, I've got the 7 on here. Doing this with one hand is a little tricky than usual. Need to get a GoPro or something. Alright, if this is stuck on here for you and it's loosened, the clamp's loosened, then that means the hose is stuck to the throttle body. Just get a pry bar, very carefully push on it and try to get it off. Don't put too much pressure on this. Another thing you can do is loosen that, get this off, and spray some penetrating oil just around the edge on here on the inside. We might be able to access it with just this out of the way. Just keep that in mind. Don't crush the dipstick tube or anything. .10 millimeter. This might be an 8 on older models, or newer models, excuse me. But yeah, you take this bolt off, move this out of the way. Okay, the next thing you want to do is get this off of the hook here. You may need penetrating oil on this. Let me see if I do. Nope, good to go. These connectors on the side need to be disconnected on the TCM. Right here. You may need to get penetrating oil on these just a little bit, not enough to rot them or anything. They are made of plastic, but sometimes the levers get stuck in here. But let me see if I need that. I push the button, release the lever, pull that out while you wiggle. Okay, see how the levers are up? That means it's released. Wiggle it back and forth and pull out. It's off. This is the released position, so when it's on the car and fully connected, it'll be the lever will be down here. This is what you press to release it. Same thing on the bottom, just the opposite orientation. Wiggle it back and forth. Don't be afraid to put a little muscle on it. Okay. The lever is stuck on this one, which is very common. One moment. Get you a little flathead screwdriver. Go on the bottom of the connector where this where these levers are. There will be a piece of plastic that goes from one lever end to the other. You're going to want to, on the bottom, what you're going to do is go in here in between the levers and sort of work down the levers. You're going to be prying against the plastic piece that goes from here to here, and that's on the bottom one. So let me do that. moved. when you look down and when you see that purple gasket showing on the lure connector, it's close to coming off. I don't think you can see it, but there's a purple seal on the gasket or on the connector that's starting to show, so it's getting close to being off. Try to get it in camera. There we go. There are 2 retainers on the harness that hold it to the TCM, one right here and one on the bottom. Grab the harness, pull them off. All right. Take this connector here, push it aside, get it out of the way. Now you have access to your TCM. Push everything out of the way. There are 4 bolts. Look at your new TCM so you know exactly where the bolts are if you have any question. There's one on top, one on the side, one here, and one on the bottom. Feel for the bolts. Can't get them on camera. That one's loose. You don't have to detorque them in any specific order, but when you reinstall it, I'll show you what I recommend as far as retorquing. Okay, they're loose. I'm gonna drop my socket down in there. There we go. The one on the corner up here that I pointed out, this, not the top one, not that one, but this one, is shorter than the other ones. That's where the short one goes, up here, not this one there. Get the bottom one. I might have to be off camera a little here. Get your bolts off. Set them aside. There you go. Out with the old. Notice how only one O-ring came off. Make sure you get the other one out of the hole here. Cause a leak if you leave that in. Also check to make sure there's no debris on the holes. So again, make sure you lube the gaskets, or the seals I mean. Slide it in, get it down below the cable. Make sure the O-rings didn't fall off. Line them up with the holes on the side. Apply minimal, like just a little bit of pressure toward the inside and shake at the same time. All right. It's as you can see, it's flush. Try to show you. Yeah, it's flush. So you can go ahead and put your bolts in. Take a long one, put it right here. Take the short one, put it in the corner. And then the 2 other long ones, top and the bottom. When you're going to tighten the bolts, make sure the module's still flush. Tighten this one first, and then that one up in the corner, the short one. That way it pulls it in evenly and not cockeyed or anything. Installation is the reverse of removal. Why don't I go ahead and show you plugging the connectors up too. After I tighten these 2 bolts up. Sit you down. Try to get you a good angle here for the connectors. That's not going to work out for me. I'll just hold the phone. Get your harness from below. Make sure it's not tangled up on anything. Line it up with the lower connector port. Don't bend the pins, just be easy with it when you go in. Push it until you hear it kind of click in the bottom. Take the lever. This lever, while you're gently pushing in on the connector, push the lever down and pull up on the slide with the same amount of pressure that you're pushing down on the lever. Yep, then you'll hear it pop like that. It's fully on, fully installed, the connector. Put your harness retainers back on. Take your upper connector. Gently line it up with the port for the top connector. Push it in until it bottoms out and clicks a little bit. Pull the lever up on the top one here while you push the slides down with the same amount of force. There we go. All right. It is normal for one connector to appear a little bit less flush than the other one. It's just the way the shells are designed. All right, and put it back together the way you took it apart. You will need to tow it to a shop or Ford dealership to have it programmed and relearned. Keep that in mind. It won't start or move without programming that. Have a good day.